up? And welcome back to Opposites Attract Podcast. This is Sonia Ramirez, your girl, and I'm sitting next to
Miguel Ramirez.
What's up, everybody? How is your day?
How was your week?
How is your
life going?
How is your new year going?
Yeah, how's your life going in 2024? But before we get into all of that, make sure you guys go to our website, Opposites Attract Podcast, in the new year, and you support our channel. You follow the new podcast clips channel, Opposites Attract Podcast Clips on YouTube. That has a handful of subscribers. We definitely need to get that up. So find a clip, share it with somebody else. Like we always say, that's the best thing that you guys can do to help out the show is just find your favorite clip, find your favorite episode, and let somebody know about one of your favorite moments of the podcast and let them know to subscribe. Get them to get their phone out and subscribe right there on the spot.
Yes. Be like,
if you're a real fan. No, I'm just kidding.
Be like, you got to listen to this podcast. You know, we had one comment. Second time he's made this comment on YouTube, and he's like, I don't understand why you guys don't have more listeners.
Yeah.
He's like, you guys are really good.
Thank you. We appreciate it. And let somebody know.
Right.
I mean, we got to do better. We will do better. It's, it's just growing.
Yeah.
But,
yeah.
But this is fun.
Marketing.
I mean, no matter what,
I
sit here and I talk to you every week.
Yes. And this is our legacy. Like, this is what we're going to leave behind for our kids to see when we're no longer on this earth. Yeah. Our grandchildren.
Yeah.
It's super awesome when you think about that.
There is, like if you knew that there was a video of your like great grandparents, would you watch it to see who they were?
Come on.
You know what I mean?
Of course.
And then that kind of brings up like that one saying or whatever, like everybody dies twice, right? You die when you die the first time, and then the last moment that anybody thinks or speaks your name.
Yeah.
But having something like this is like, kind of like I've always thought about like music, and somebody like, I mean, not that he was a good person or whatever, but he made great music. Michael Jackson. Like he will never die.
Right. I just had a thought that, like with my sister, and she was very young when she passed. She was 34 years old. And our babies, our children didn't get to meet her. And to be able to go back, I'm going to make myself cry, but to be able to go back and like watch, like if she created some kind of platform with the video or even just an
taking
audio,
videos.
For whatever reason, it would be cool to go back and see that. It's like looking, I have this small tape, right? Like we had a camcorder and I cannot get that camcorder to work, but I have these tapes of when we spent Thanksgiving together.
Yeah.
And just being able to go back
and check it out. Mm-hmm. I was just thinking like it would be cool as a business, like as maybe a website or something, to have something where you could upload your memories like that and then share them just with like your family.
That's a great idea.
But you know what? That's what Facebook is. But what ends up happening is you just add everybody because it turns into a popularity contest. Facebook in the beginning was just for college students. And then it was just like, only if you know people can you request them or something like it was like, I remember there was something about that. Like like they had to, I mean, I guess that's just how it is. They have to accept your request or whatever. But that's how it was in the beginning. But I don't know if it turned into a popularity contest where you just add everybody. And then at a certain point, it's like, I'm not posting everything because there's certain things that's just for the family. It's not for the world to see or whatever. You know what I mean?
See, but that goes away. I mean, MySpace, my sister Diane was on MySpace. She's the one who actually got me on MySpace. Can you log back on? I mean, I don't even know.
I think you can. I wonder if you can pull up your old profile.
We're going to have to check that out.
What's that dude's name? That everybody's friend? Tom? Was it Tom?
Oh, yeah.
Ted? What the hell was his name?
No,
the dude with the white t-shirt?
Tom. Yeah, I think it was Tom.
It's like you show up. It's like, motherfucker, I don't know you. Like delete right away.
It was so funny. I was meeting with a friend yesterday, and she was like, I asked her how her and her husband met, and she's like,
Yeah.
oh, we met through MySpace. I'm like, get the heck out of here. Matter of fact, that's how I found my second job at the law firm.
Really?
I was
On
recruited
MySpace?
by an attorney on MySpace. He saw that I was a legal secretary.
He was listening to your music on your MySpace page.
And he inboxed me or whatever, private. I don't know what it was back then, and
Dude,
asked me if I was looking for, to increase my income.
Dude, I don't remember. I remember that you could like customize your page and like it was cool. Like
Yeah.
because like Facebook, everybody's shit looks the same.
Yeah, yeah.
And I remember on MySpace, like you could make it yours. Like it had your background. It had like I remember I had like during Christmas I had like that Dick in a Box video on there with
Yeah.
Justin Timberlake.
Oh my
I had all
goodness.
but I remember that it was pretty cool.
Dang. Did we just outdate ourselves?
Yeah. Holy shit.
Our kids would be my who?
Yeah.
My what?
Get out of MySpace. This is MySpace. Oh my
So,
God.
how is your guys' year going? You got to let us know. Go onto our Facebook page.
Give us a call.
Yes, and let us know how your New Year's going.
Yeah.
I was
You can call us at 480-331-9846.
So, I've never been big on resolutions. Like, what am I going to do this year? What am I going to we would do, vision boards and things like that, but you always hear, people like, oh, this year I'm going to do this. This year I'm going to do that. And for me, it was more like now I'm more aware of me, right?
Yeah.
And I decided I'm not going to do that because I was thinking about making a resolution. And then I'm like, I'm just going to do what I know I need to do.
Just do what you do.
Right? Yeah. Like, getting back in the gym after being off for how long? I don't know, 3 weeks or something like that.
Yeah.
And getting back to doing what I was doing, but being more focused in the business.
Yeah.
Right? Like just continuing to grow and to push myself to do the things that, I don't like to do.
Yeah. I think, I don't know, resolutions are different. I think it's I could see how maybe it's like the mindset of like, you shouldn't have to wait till the beginning of the year to get your shit together.
Right.
But anytime you have the opportunity to like restart, like, you know what, I'm going to sit down. I'm going to reflect on the things that I've done. I'm going to refocus, figure out what my goals are, what my purpose is, and then how can I head in that direction? That doesn't have to happen at the end of the year. It could happen during your birthday. But whenever those moments come up, I think it's a good thing. And the fact that it happens for a lot of people in the beginning of the year, New Year's is, I don't know if it's a bad thing, but
I'm not saying it's a bad thing.
But you shouldn't just wait like, okay, when New Year's comes around, it's like, no, but take the opportunities when they come.
Right.
Yeah.
So from the beginning or since the beginning of the year, what things have you refocused on?
I'm back in training. I'm working out again. I'm eating right again. I decided to be healthy for, a while. I'm going to be eating clean, no alcohol, no nothing. Like just
no caffeine.
No caffeine. Yeah. What is it? Like day 3, I think day 3 or 4.
Yeah.
Yeah. We still had some stuff left over. So on the 3rd, I think we had some coffee with some cookies and all that stuff and kind of finished that all up. But now it's, we're just on it.
So I've been witnessing Miguel weighing himself every morning. And women, I know that you're going to be able to relate to this.
It's insane.
It is. And even you say it's insane
for me. Yeah.
It's like he started. So how much weight did you gain?
I gained almost 25 pounds.
So what were you weighing?
So I was weighing about 158, 159. I was always around between like 158 and like 162 around there.
So
that's
about
like my
160.
regular weight. Yeah, 160.
160.
But I think before, like around Halloween, I was right around 160, maybe a little lower. And then when I weighed myself on the 3rd, January 3rd, I was almost 181.
181.
Yeah.
And then he starts doing push-ups.
I started doing pull-ups every day. Again, 100 pull-ups every day. And then I started, doing some other workout, doing my routine.
Mm-hmm.
And every day I've been losing about over 2 pounds every day.
Where are you at right now?
This morning I was so what is this? Tuesday, I weighed myself. I was 180.8. Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. This Saturday morning, I'm 171.2. So I lost 9.6 pounds in
That's just
1, 2, 3, 4, 5 days.
That's just insane.
I was saying if I can get into the 160s, like 169
Right.
by Monday, that would be fucking insane.
Yes.
But
the difference between men and women, which I am not I'm not focused on losing weight. Like I feel pretty good where I'm at, like these pants, I got in them, haven't been able to get into them for a while, but I don't use, and you've always been on me about this, but I don't use the scale because when I lift, I do lift heavy. And for me, the scale just does not, I don't know.
Yeah.
It doesn't do me well. I can tell by my clothes.
Yeah.
Right? When the clothes are fitting loose and yes. And so.
Got that truth clothes.
I don't, I just, but I'm seeing him and I'm like, what the because I know that if I was focused on losing pounds, like I would be, what the if we're both weighing ourselves
you see, you say
at the
that
same time.
You say that, but you haven't done it.
But why? I don't know. It just, but
because
why?
what if you're maybe not losing 2 pounds every day, but you're losing 0.7 pounds? I mean, that's not bad.
No.
It's like, but you have no idea because you don't do it.
No, I look in the mirror and I put my clothes on, and when my clothes feel good, I can guess my weight right now.
Yeah. Crazy.
Because I know normally I can guess my weight and I'm like on point.
Yeah.
And right now I'm probably 136. Now I'm going to weigh myself though, because now I want to know. That's why I'll weigh myself just to confirm whether I'm correct or not.
Yeah. Yeah. And a couple of days ago, I put up a post about the weight that I had gained, and I had put on there just about like a lot of times people, they see themselves gain weight. And I have been pretty hard on myself in the past when I let myself go. But I think the difference is when it's like an undisciplined, just letting you're actually just letting yourself go.
Without making the decision to do so. Is that what you're saying? Okay.
Yeah. Without making the decision.
Giving yourself permission.
Without recognizing that it's happening. Because in the past, I've been way heavier and I beat myself up about it. Like I walk past the mirror and I'm like, oh, you fat piece of shit,
Yeah.
And then this time, because it was right around Halloween, we had the trip with my friends coming up in November. So I was still kind of getting the workouts in here and there. I worked out at the hotel there a couple times, but we started eating real good after that. And then Thanksgiving came around. So I was working out a little bit less. And then once Christmas came around, I stopped everything. I stopped working out completely. I just started eating everything in sight. But the thing is, I had already decided, like when we went to go visit my friends, in my head, I already knew shit's going downhill.
Yeah.
It's the end of the year.
Yeah.
And I don't want to be unreasonable either. You know what I mean?
You want to enjoy yourself. Yeah.
We're going to go hang out with my friends and have a good time. Then Thanksgiving is coming with the family and we're going to have a good time. then we have a couple weeks till Christmas. Why don't we just relax, enjoy ourselves? We already have a plan of kind of what's going to be coming up for the next year. So there's not a lot happening right now. And I just decided I'm stopping everything. I'm just going to enjoy myself, enjoy the family. But when the new year comes around, it's going to be time to get busy again. And that's just what it was. But everything was decided beforehand.
Right. Yeah.
You know, and I had a friend of mine, an old friend from our business that commented something. And he was saying something about, like that, like that I'm doing a great job, and thanks for continuing to try, and that he believes in me. And it was one of those things that is nice to get from other people, but I knew, like I said, the decision had already been made. So I told him, I was like, not to sound arrogant, but I'm not trying. I'm doing. This is going to happen. Like, as you can hear already, it's happening. We're in the process. And as far as like belief goes, like, thanks for believing in me. I appreciate it, but I don't need anyone's belief in me.
Because you believe in yourself.
Yeah. I know what I am capable of. And I was going to write something like that. I was like, but that sounds even more arrogant. Yeah. But that is the truth. Like, and the other thing that I put in that comment was that I don't feel like I'm special, because that it sounds arrogant to be like, I don't need your belief in me because I got this shit.
Right.
I am a bad motherfucker. Yeah. That sounds arrogant.
Yeah.
The thing is that I believe that for just about everybody, but most people don't have that. They don't have that mindset. They have the capability. They don't have the mindset.
Right. And that's what makes a big difference. When Miguel decided that he was going balls to the wall, I knew I wasn't going balls to the wall. No, I knew. Like, okay,
you're
I'm
like,
gonna
oh
eat.
Shit, this motherfucker's
I'll eat some. I'll eat some, right, and enjoy myself. But I have limits, because I knew that if I were to pack on as much weight as you packed on, I'd be looking like a Oompa Loompa.
Dude,
and it would take me a year.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like, it would take me more time to lose the weight. So I did not give myself that permission. Yeah. I mean, I gave myself permission to eat, like, to eat and enjoy, but I did have a limit. I knew that I couldn't go hard balls to the wall like you.
Yeah.
I knew that. Yeah. And poor Miguel, because he made the decision to go balls to the wall, and I'm not eating all my food. So Miguel's finishing my leftover.
Yeah, I'm eating everything.
But I knew whatever weight you're going to gain, that shit was just going to melt off.
I was eating your stuff.
I knew it was just going to melt off.
I was eating your stuff. I was eating the kids' stuff. I was eating everything.
Yep. And then so, I started, back in the gym, and I was cold plunging. I started cold plunging last year during the winter. And so I went to the gym, got into the sauna, and that morning, the thought came in, hey, good idea to take a plunge, right? And I had not yet decided whether I was going to do that or not.
Mm-hmm.
So while I'm in the sauna, I'm thinking about it, and I'm like, it's really good for you.
You're getting cold.
I'm like, it's really good for you. You just worked out. It's going to help your body to recuperate faster.
Yeah.
And you don't want to do it, so you should do it.
Ugh.
So I'm like, all right, then it is what it is. And before that, like the planks, it's something that there's a love-hate relationship there. I didn't realize how much benefit is behind planking.
Yeah.
Until the first day when I decided, okay, well, I don't want to go too hard, because last time I went too hard, I was in major
move?
pain. I was just so uncomfortable because I pushed myself like over the limit. So I decided, well, I'm going to stretch for 30 minutes and then I'll do 3 sets of planks, like 2-minute planks, right?
Do you do them up on your hands or down on your forearms?
On my arms. Why?
Okay.
Is there a difference?
I don't think so. I think
Yeah.
maybe up on your hands maybe does a little more for your shoulders.
Yeah.
I'm not sure. But
And sometimes I'll switch it up. So I'll go up and down.
yeah,
right?
there's that one.
I do that too.
That's tough. Yeah.
So that's what I did. And I felt the next day my abs were sore, my upper body was sore. And I told you, I'm like, holy smokes. Like, I just felt like I did a full body workout with just doing the planks itself, you know?
Nice.
So anyways, when I came home, I decided that I was going to, jump in the pool. And you guys, these past few days have been really cold, right? Colder than most days.
For Arizona.
For Arizona. Shut up. And it's been overcast.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Like it's been overcast. And so I realized, well, I'll just read you guys the post that I wrote. So I put, second day taking the plunge. I felt a shift in my body when I stepped outside. I looked up into the sky to see nothing but clouds and no sun in sight. I stood looking into the pool and felt a cold chill running down my spine, my bare feet red from the cold. I immediately noticed a mental challenge as my thoughts raced for comfort. Like how many times when you become aware and mindful of yourself, anytime you're doing something different where there's a change, right? Like where there's change or there's something that you don't want to do. If you slow down enough, you can feel the way your body shifts, the way your thoughts, the thoughts that come in. And a lot of times those thoughts are what stop us from doing the thing that we know we should do.
But depending on your mindset, you can switch it to hype yourself up.
Right. And that's exactly what I did. When I recognized the thoughts, I immediately became aware and noticed the mental game that was playing out. I made the decision right then to take the first step, and in the pool I went because I was like, what the hell? Are you serious, Sonia?
It's kind of like when you see fighters coming out and they're like slapping themselves.
Yeah,
and
yeah,
it's like
yeah.
they're like, come, like, let's
Yeah.
go. It's about to go down.
Yeah.
And that's like you're changing your mindset, getting ready to jump in.
And that's exactly when I recognized the thought, I felt the shift in my body right then. I'm like, what? Come on. You've done things way, right? Like things that you thought that you could not do. This is nothing. And it's funny because I always refer my babies were natural. Like we had both of our babies. Well, not we, but I had home births.
I like to say we. I was in the water too.
So right when that shift, when I changed it, when I recognized it, that was it. And in I went. And the craziest thing is that once you're in, like once your full body is submerged, it's not that difficult.
Take it easy.
I'm sorry, but the hardest, nah,
yo.
the hardest for you, maybe.
Well, no, sauna and cold plunging is not the same. Because you don't have to psych yourself up to get into a sauna.
No, but to stay in the sauna, you do, because there's a certain point, because I've been in there for 40 minutes. There's a certain point where your body, your heart, I can hear my heartbeat. Yeah. Like I can hear my heartbeat and my body is telling me to step the fuck out.
Yeah.
So no, it does not take.
Your brain is saying you're going to die in here.
So to stay in, yes, it is. There is a mental game that happens when you've been in for that long to stay in. Like I give myself, okay, I'm going to be in this, I'm going to be in for 40 minutes.
And if you die, you die. It's like, your body's like, get out. And your brain's like, we're staying.
So the mental game is different. It's harder to step into the water.
Yeah.
But once I was submerged,
I can see that.
It was cold. My body was numb. My body went numb. And when I went in, I had my arms up because I noticed that there's warmth that's created underneath your pits. Yeah. So when I recognized that, I picked my arms up and out.
If you move around in the pool,
which I did,
even worse. Yeah.
Which I was doing
like
because
if you're flowing, because if you're standing still, like you said, I noticed that too last year. I haven't gotten in the pool yet, but when you keep your elbows down and your armpits down, like at least it kind of keeps some warmth.
Right.
And then if you're not moving, the water around you, even though it's cold, the water around you starts to warm up.
Yes.
So if you start moving around and stuff, like it just all mixes.
I noticed because I was leaning against the wall and my butt was touching the
wall of the pool.
The wall of the pool. And I started to feel that warmth. Like I started to feel warm. And that's when I stepped out and I started walking because I felt that.
Yeah.
Right. But yeah, and I just recognize it with everything that we do. When we're doing something different or we're challenging ourselves to step out of our comfort zone, the mind game that starts to take place, the thoughts that start to take place. And a lot of times it's that thought that prevents us from pushing ourselves to move forward, to do the thing, right? To have the first retreat.
Yeah.
You know, to step out of the thing, your comfort zone, what you're used to doing.
To committing to something, to getting something started.
But that's where all the growth is.
You know, and that was actually like the end of the post that I had put up. You know, I put that I'm already down 8 pounds in 4 days. 2024 is going to be an awesome year. And the purpose of my post was just about like, I capitalized every time that I put decided because it was a decision that I made. That's why I wasn't trying. You know, it was going to happen. And I ended the post with like, if you're starting 2024 and there's things that you're on the fence about, but you know that it's a good thing for you, something that you've been thinking about doing, something that you've been wanting to try, and it's a good thing for you, stop thinking about it so much. Commit to it and do it. You know?
Yeah. And a lot of times,
that's the mental mind game.
And sometimes it's not going to turn out the way you envisioned or the way you thought it was going to go. But it doesn't mean that it was bad for you.
No, you're going to learn and you're going to have an experience.
Right. A week ago, you had shared that like you shared, well, have you ever questioned the thought or like, you know, when something comes up? And I think it was, I can't remember what you were referring back to, but when you said that, I thought about when I was connected to Joyce, who is now a friend that we are co-hosting our event that's coming up January 20th. I've never met her in person.
And if you guys would like to go hit us up.
Yes. I met her through Facebook, a group, and she said that she was coming here from Germany and that she would like to share what it is that she does.
Yeah.
And start to explore that here in Arizona. And I felt called to do it with her. And so I had reached out to her and we met through Zoom and been talking weekly through Zoom. And I don't know her like I feel like I know her on a personal basis, but I just met her and I'm having this event with her.
Yeah.
And I'm inviting the people that I know, that I love, into this circle with someone that I really don't know. Right?
That's something to think about. And
there's no fear behind it because no matter how it goes, I'm going to learn something from it.
Yeah.
I'm going to gain something from this experience. You know, that's why I don't feel like there's, you know, just like the situation that I went through in India, you know, though it was scary and I got myself in this predicament, I learned so much about me.
Yes, but we don't want to go through all experiences all the time Because it's not like we're trying to do something, but it's like, hey, why don't we experience bankruptcy?
No, but if that were to happen, it's not like we're doing things to make it happen.
What I'm saying,
but some things are out of our control.
If you can avoid it by taking preventative measures and thinking things through, it could avoid the experience of bankruptcy. That, yes, you will go through bankruptcy. It will be an experience and you will learn from it.
Right.
But I'd fucking rather not.
Right. Yeah. That's something. Yeah. But I just.
Yeah.
That's different. That's different.
That, you know what? I was going to say something. You were just talking about cold plunging, right? Mm-hmm. And earlier in the week, you were asking me about, like, there was something that I had heard somewhere about how, like, the benefits of cold plunging. Like, it has certain benefits to your body, like physical benefits that it gives you. Mm-hmm. And you only need to cold plunge 10 minutes a week. Mm-hmm. Now, to get those benefits. Anything after that is not really doing much. Mm-hmm. Now, one thing that staying in longer than 10 minutes does help with, that is not a physical benefit, is your mental strength, is being able to stay in that freezing cold water, right? Mm-hmm. And I was like, I don't know if it was 10 minutes or if it was 12 minutes or 11 minutes. And then I told you, I think it's like 10 or 11. I was like, but you should look it up, you know? And there was a thought that I had earlier in this week. And it was something that, let me see. It was one of those quotes that I wrote down. Anyways, here we go. Maybe where did I write it? Over here, miscellaneous. Oh, people go to others or search for information because they want answers. Mm-hmm. I look to gather information and form my own opinions. You know, and I don't know if that's exactly the same, but part of it is like people tell us shit all. It has the same thing to do with a lot of the stuff that we've been talking about or I've been talking about in the past few weeks. Like, we just take what people tell us for granted. It's like, oh, somebody put in a book, it must be true. Found it on the internet, Wikipedia, it must be true. Like, whatever the hell somebody says, if they're wearing a fucking suit or they sound halfway smart, okay, that's what it is then. You know, without actually like processing it and thinking about, like, is that? People talk really good and they can trick you, you know? So a lot of times it's like, a good example is like, we're listening to this book, The Power of Now right now, which we'll get into in a little bit because I know Kelly wants to hear about that, right? Shout out to Kelly. But listening to the book, I also, I'm telling you, like, this past year has been different. And like anything, I filter everything that comes into my fucking head now. Everything. Like, I'm paying attention to what I'm allowing and where is this coming from? Is this legit or not? Because it is hard. It's hard to tell. But a lot of times people will, like, they want an answer. Like, maybe inside, like, they want something to be true. And searching for that answer, you might be searching just to confirm your bias, as opposed to just gather the information and then look at it all. Mm-hmm. Does that make sense? Does this make sense? Does this make sense? How does this all work together? Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? What is the meaning of life? I mean, you could just accept that the world was created in 7 days and that we were made out of mud. Or you could take everything, put it down and be like, does this make sense? What are other theories? Does this make sense? Does that make sense? Mm-hmm. I think I'll make up my own opinion. Mm-hmm. You know?
Yeah. Yeah.
Think about that shit. So while you guys are thinking about that, you might as well go to our website, oppositesattractpodcast.com. When you guys go to our website, you'll see all the ways that you can support the show. You can follow us at Opposite Pod on all the different social media apps, YouTube, Facebook, TikTok, Instagram, X, Twitter, all that. We're gonna be the old people that still call it Twitter, and everybody else is calling it X still, or X now. But yeah, the best thing, like I said before, is share this with somebody else, or whenever you guys are on those apps, if you just search Opposites Attract Podcast, will pop up, and then you can like, subscribe, comment, follow, all that stuff. And when you go to our website, you can also give us your name and your email, and that will get you added to our email list, and eventually we'll start sending out emails. And if something was to happen to this podcast and we get taken down for talking crazy or whatever,
or Miguel talking crazy,
yes, and we'll still be able to get a hold of you guys and stay in touch and let you know where the podcast is and where it's coming out, because it will come out somewhere no matter what.
Yes,
that's how we do. And if you guys wanted to support the show in a different way, you guys could go to our website, click on the support the show tab. That'll take you to our Amazon link. Valentine's Day is coming up, and if you guys are shopping on Amazon for your significant other, you guys can help us out by shopping through Amazon. Use that link, and we get a little kickback anytime you guys buy something.
And if you would like to support a show in a different manner, you can go to buymeacoffee.com/oppositepod and purchase us some coconut water. And that's what we're drinking today. Yeah. And if you would like to, you can actually subscribe to that, on a monthly basis as well.
That's right. Before we get into, I wanted to, did you have something that you wanted to get into? Because I was going to talk about like the power of now and all that, because I've been listening to that this week.
Yeah.
And you've been listening, and we kind of been not listening together, but listening to the same thing separately.
Yeah. I wanted to talk about, I had a breakthrough session with a friend of mine who is a coach. And lately, I've been on this meditation journey of desire. And some things have come up. And those of you that have listened to this podcast for quite some time, it's not something that I talk much about. You know, I've always had a heart to serve, and that's been my focus. And we talked about our relationship and like the different areas in our life when it comes to parenting, my spirituality, Miguel's,
non-spirituality.
Our relationship, like we feel that, there's different areas in our life. And I like to grade us on these different areas in our life. And we are passing.
Are we? That's good.
Yeah, we are. I mean, are we?
Yeah, we are.
Right? Like in our relationship, parenting, just like we have a very good life.
Yeah, for sure.
And I've never really focused on money. Like that's everything that I've ever done has been because I want to serve. I want to make a difference. And I just started, I don't even know how to explain this. Can you?
No.
Wealth, when I'm looking at all these different compartments, right? Yeah. And I look at wealth, like we're good, right? Like we've never struggled. Mm-hmm. Well, we have in the past, right? But these days, right, starting a new business and just kind of looking back at what we've been able to create together and where we are, that game, the wealth game, we are still figuring out.
Yeah.
And it's something that I haven't gave myself permission to come into my space, right? Like it's something that would bring guilt, actually, when I would think about having. There was a part of me that felt that I didn't deserve it, But there was a huge part of me that felt that I couldn't have it because it would cause separation between what we already have. Like I would have to sacrifice my time with you, with the kids.
Yeah, you were having like like this binary mindset of either this or that.
Right. It wasn't an and, it was an or.
It's either we have the money and you don't have any time with your family, or you don't have the money and then you can spend time with your family.
Right. And I started to process that. Like, why was I feeling this way? Where was this coming from?
Yeah.
And I realized that it was linked to my surroundings. Like everyone that I've known that created wealth, starting with the attorney that I used to work with. He had a nanny raising his children. He would stay in the office until 8:00 at night sometimes. Right? Like I would be leaving, he's there. I would come in the following morning and I would hear the chatter.
Yeah.
And then when we got into Legal Shield, we were trained.
You don't fall asleep, or you don't go to sleep. You fall asleep.
Like the hustle mentality was ingrained into us.
Yeah, you
for
don't
over
go to sleep.
A decade.
You fall asleep.
Yes.
You fall asleep working.
And I was living that.
Yeah.
There were times, some of you that have been following us for a while know this. We've talked about it, where you were putting our kids to sleep.
No, we would have babysitters.
3 to 4.
So that we could,
that's when we were working it together.
There was also a time when I was doing Spanish presentations and all kinds of stuff.
Yeah.
You know? But I think that's just part of the hustle, the game. Like at that point we didn't understand. We didn't know.
But I'm just sharing where that division came from within me.
Right.
Of feeling that in order to create wealth, I had to sacrifice the time that I have with you and the children. And I'm just not willing to do that. So I did not allow that desire to come in for that reason.
Yeah.
And then I started, and when, my friend helped me realize that it wasn't and that I didn't have to choose, that I can have both, that I can create both.
Yeah, you can. It depends on your situation. Like maybe for an attorney, that's not very possible.
Right.
Or maybe as an attorney, it's harder to figure out that way.
Right.
Maybe that it's not possible, but more often than not, you're going to be working long hours. Your kids are going to be with a babysitter. Right. But I'm sure there are some attorneys that have figured out how to do it. You know what I mean?
Right.
It's just, you have to, like I said, it's all a game and you have to figure out how to make the game work for you.
Right. And setting boundaries is something that I'm working on right now, is creating those boundaries.
Yeah.
So that and giving myself permission. And when I look back at especially the 2 new clients that I already got this year, I mean, my goal was 5 clients. I already have 2, right? And I didn't realize that I was playing small.
Yeah.
When I said 5 clients. Because I ended up sitting down and creating what my perfect day would look like, because he requested me to do that.
You had a sit down session with one of your other coach friends.
Right. And he was like, I challenge you to do this.
What does your perfect day look like? What does your perfect week look like? Your perfect month and your perfect year.
And when I wrote that down, that's when I realized that I was playing safe. And the 50,000 that I said that I would create this year turned into 140,000.
So is it, I mean, maybe it's just, is it
the
just
mindset.
Like goal setting? Like sit down and write it down. How many times have we talked like,
Yeah.
what are my goals for this year? That's just what it is.
Right. But it was the way he worded it, because you and I both sat down and tried to write out our goals and got nowhere.
Yeah.
You know, but it was the way he said it. Like, write down your perfect day. Write down your perfect week. And your day, once you write down your perfect day, your perfect week just falls into place, because then you start to see it.
And maybe also the difference is, which I've seen this in one of our old businesses, where you have some people that hit, you know, some high positions, and they really know their stuff. Like, they're really, really good people. And we see them at the meetings every week. Mm-hmm. And then after a while, those people lose their luster. Mm-hmm. And the out-of-towners come in, and we treat the out-of-towners with so much respect and so much reverence, because they are the big dogs. But you don't realize that you have the big dogs here with you.
Right.
You know? And this is going to sound arrogant, but like, if I tell you something versus a $20,000 coach friend of yours telling you the same thing, mm-hmm. It's like, I see you every day. I know these guys are coaching with these big people or whatever, you know what I mean? Mm-hmm. So I'm going to sit down and do whatever they ask me to do. Mm-hmm. You know? I don't know.
Yeah. Well, sometimes it's just too close for comfort.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah. There was something that I was going to say about, like, I know we've all heard the term fake it till you make it, right? Mm-hmm. And you were talking about how you feel like you have to choose one over the other or whatever. And when it comes to wealth, it's hard for me to like say, like, because we don't have like that level of wealth or whatever, but mm-hmm. the honest truth is I don't give a fuck. Mm-hmm. That is different, because everybody does give a fuck.
Right. Yeah.
So if I'm sitting across from somebody that is worth $10 million, mm-hmm. I think I'm not faking. Do you know what I mean? Because I actually don't give a fuck. I am wealthy. Mm-hmm. I don't give a shit how much you have.
Right.
So it's not like I'm fake. Like, there's people that they're trying to be the other person, but when you realize you already have it, like, you're not better than me because you have more money.
Right.
I'm not faking shit.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's a different attitude.
Yeah. I never cared for that concept. Like,
But I think that's what it is, because I think the faking it is almost like that I don't give a fuck attitude that you can have when you made it. That's what you're faking. You're faking the shit that, like, I don't give a fuck because but yeah. when you can understand that having money doesn't mean shit. And yes, you could sit across from somebody. They may have money, but they may be miserable. I'm good. Mm-hmm. Like, yes, I can learn, but right. It doesn't make you better than me. Let's just talk. Like, I'm not scared of you. 50 Cent had something about that in his book, like how he would bring one of his friends along to an executive board meeting, and his friend would just fucking clam up. Like, this dude was an expert in his field of music and in that industry. And he would break shit down for 50 Cent, and he was like, this dude he really knows his shit. Next time we get 50 Cent didn't want to do it. He wanted him to do it because he was good at it. Mm-hmm. And then when he brought him to the boardroom, this dude just tightened up. And he's like, what the fuck is going on? And he just felt like they were better than him. You know?
Yeah. Yeah.
And I think sometimes that fake it till you make it is like you're trying to fit in with them because you're not one of them.
Oh, I see what you're saying. Yeah. But if you believe, like, for me, the wealth thing is not something
and the way I look at it is, you're right. I'm not one of you.
Yeah. It's something, and it for me, it's very, I don't know how to explain it, but it's something that it's coming. Like, I feel like, I just feel it. It's very, there's a spiritual thing that's within, like, just something, it's a feeling within that it is coming. Not that I need it.
Yeah. I
don't need it to be happy. I've never needed it. Yeah. I've always been who I am. I am who I am. I don't pretend to be someone that I'm not.
Yeah.
When I'm happy, you're going to know. When I'm sad, you're going to know.
Yeah.
You know, I wear my emotions, you know, I wear my emotions, you know, and
On your
so
sleeve.
this, yes. And the wealth thing, it's coming because I feel it. I see it. And I'm so excited for it.
Yeah.
And I finally gave myself permission to be okay with receiving it. Because I would sabotage my success all the time. When I recognize this, when he helped me recognize this, I realized that I've been sabotaging it since Legal Shield.
Okay.
Since Legal Shield.
We don't have a lot of time left, and I want to get into the book before we get out of here. But how did you sabotage your success?
Well, you've witnessed it. Very much so you've witnessed it. Because the higher you get in Legal Shield, we hit executive director. And I kept that pretty consistent. And then I didn't.
It's a position
and I realized
that you have to hit a quota.
Every month.
Yeah.
Right? And I knew what I had to do to get that position.
Yeah.
But when the mommy guilt would kick in and I realized that I wasn't there, what would I do?
Stop everything.
I would freaking stop everything. I would stop doing what I was doing to get there.
Okay.
Because of that.
So if you have to...
And the responsibility that came with that position as well. Because not only did you, the income, you reach the income, there's more responsibility. I have more team members relying on me. I have, just all this.
And you have to maintain that
happening.
Position.
Right. And in order to maintain that,
you gotta work.
I have to continue.
You got to keep working.
To have you put the kids to sleep. I have to be okay with not being there for dinner. I have to be okay with, and my spirit was not okay with that. So then I would just completely stop doing what I was doing.
The momentum would stop.
Everything would stop.
Right. So how could you work and not have that mommy guilt?
I never had boundaries.
How could you?
By setting plans, like a plan in place. Like, okay, well, I'm only going to work I'm only going to work these hours.
Yeah.
Create the team, teach the team to become more independent, right? Because a lot of the team was relying on me.
Yes. I think you're right. Yes. Creating, because it was like the beginning of the month, and it's like hit the ground running. Mm-hmm. Start doing presentations, start doing stuff and getting the team together, calling the team, calling clients and setting up meetings and all this stuff, right?
Yeah.
But it was like, when's the day off? There was no day off. It was just keep working. Yeah. We wake up, you go to work.
Saturday.
We work, super Saturdays.
Sunday.
Meetings in the evenings, presentations at people's houses, presentations in our house. It was just nonstop. I think, yes, number one would be having a schedule where you're like, okay, I'm working this day, this day, this day. On these days, I'm spending time with my family. The phone is off. I don't give a shit who calls. They call somebody else. They can figure it out. Call the corporate office and they can answer the questions. And then the other thing, this is something that you hear when it comes to network marketing companies. Mm-hmm. They have like the way their businesses are structured and the way their trainings work are really related to religion. You can see it, like the weekly meetings, the positive. It feels like you're going to church at these meetings.
That's why I loved it so much. It was so positive.
But because of that, there is a power in it. Like we were saying before, you don't go to sleep, you fall asleep. Mm-hmm. You show up to these weekly meetings every fucking week. Yeah. You go, you do not miss an event. Who makes up these fucking rules?
Yeah.
This is the thing, is that when we were back then, we were brainwashed.
We were very conditioned.
We were brainwashed.
We were very conditioned. No, yeah. No. Yeah. And I see it when I'm working this business.
And you know what?
The things that were planted, the seeds that were planted, and the ones I'm now having to uproot.
And you know what I remember now? What I remember telling you? That we would go to these conferences every once in a while, and you would see people, and you were like, who the fuck is that person?
Yes. Oh, like yes.
They're a millionaire, whatever the fuck. Like, who is that? I've never seen them before.
Yes.
How are they? And then I'm like, how are they doing it? Because they're not somebody that you hear talking about doing like they're doing it different.
Right.
They understood. I am not following people's rules. I have this company that is giving me the opportunity to sell this service so that I can make money for myself. They developed their own fucking plan. They're like, I'm not listening to what everybody else has to do. I got my own business mindset. Yeah. I know how to do this shit.
Yeah.
And they became millionaires.
Yeah.
And everybody's like,
how do they do it? Because I don't see them.
Think for yourself.
Yeah. Like the large events ever. But then you would hear their names.
Yeah. All the time.
On the call. And I'm like, who in the hell is that?
Yeah. Top producer. Like, it's like, what the hell?
Right.
You know, and
interesting.
It's that brainwashing. People hate that word, I've noticed. People that have been brainwashed, which is all of us, hate that word. If you don't understand how easily you can be brainwashed.
Yeah.
Anyway, before we got to get into this. Before we get into the power now, I told you guys that I wanted to read a couple quotes that I come across. And this is one that I think I read this one last time. So just in case, it's better to be a warrior in a garden than a gardener in a war. That was Miyamoto Musashi. This one I wrote down. This one was awesome. Your presence is my present. Who said that? That was our nephew, Randy.
Oh, yeah.
We were hanging out here at the house.
He's so cute.
And I don't know what we were talking about, but he said, your presence is my present. I was like, dude, he's such a sweetheart. Shout out to Randy. And then this one kind of hurt my feelings a little bit. Happiness in intelligent people is the rarest thing I know. Ernest Hemingway's novel, The Garden of Eden.
Why did that break your heart?
Because there's a lot to fucking think about out there.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
But you got to keep your mind right.
Yes.
Because you could just let all the shit in the world just affect you, you know?
So do you understand?
Like, I get it. Last night I was watching a fucking documentary about this murderer in New York, the son of Sam.
Yeah.
Like, this shit is real. This shit is out there.
Yeah.
But you can't live in that and focus on that all the time.
So you understand me now.
I get it. But I also understand this.
Yeah. See, and I understood that. It's not that I didn't know what was happening in the world. I just can't live in that space.
Yeah. So, dude, I hardly got into any of my notes beside, like, now I got a bunch of power of now stuff.
A lot of stuff that we can talk about next.
So I know Kelly's looking forward to this. So yeah, we started listening. One of the first things in the power of now, I guess he was talking about like your presence, like recognizing your thoughts and like where your your unconscious thoughts and where they're coming from and all that. Mm-hmm. And right in the beginning of the book, he said, you are here to enable the divine purpose of the universe to unfold. I don't know what that means.
So beautiful. What that means is that you're here to learn about who you really are. Like your soul, the way it's connected to the universe, the trees, the flowers, all of that will unfold when you really get to know who you are. What makes you you. That's our entire purpose in this world.
If you wish to. That's how I see it. Because like I said, these are people's thoughts. And this is what, like, that's it, if you wish to. Some people don't live that way. And not everybody's the same.
And a lot of times they're struggling because they're trying to find that inner joy. They're trying to find that inner peace and that unconditional love for self. Because as on page 12.
Well, I was thinking, like, are ancient apocalypses the divine purpose of the universe? Well, I guess you are here. You are here for the divine. So I guess it's not about you. That would be the world. So he
puts on here, you know, those that are not, right? Those that are just living and not living in that space. They are looking outside for scraps of pleasure or fulfillment, for validation, security, or love, while they have a treasure within that not only includes all those things, but is infinitely greater than anything the world can offer.
Yeah.
Because everything lies within.
You see, and that's where this has to do with your thought of, can I have it all?
I can. I have. And I can.
That's the problem right there.
And I will.
No.
No what?
I do. That's the difference. That's what you need to understand. It's not I can and I will. I do.
Have it all. I do have it all.
Yeah. That's why when Eckhart Tolle's talking about, like, this person that comes up to him telling him, I want what you have. Like his peace, I want what you have. Like, how is that you have it? He's like, you already have it. There is nothing that I have that you don't have.
Right.
And like when he also in the beginning of the book is talking about the moment when he became enlightened. When that moment happens, you realize that you've had it. I do have it, and I've had it.
And that's why I shared with you that I feel that's why sometimes it's hard for you to understand certain things, because you're there.
Okay. Yeah.
That's exactly what I meant when I told you that.
Yeah.
Like you're there.
Thanks, babe.
Because when you realize that, what's going to stop you?
Nothing. Me. It's the only thing.
Exactly. It's I am.
Yeah.
I am that.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm glad we cleared that up. I didn't know how to explain that to you. Because I was sharing that with you.
Yeah.
Like, the reason why you don't understand why it's so hard to grasp certain things is because you're already living in that space.
Yeah. But I haven't always.
No. And that's what I told you.
Yeah.
See? Too close for comfort.
I don't know. I'm not sure. We'll have to keep talking about this some more. So he also said, he's like, when you listen to a thought, you are aware of not only the thought, but yourself as a witness to the thought. Mm-hmm. These two things cannot happen at once. Oh, I wrote this part. These two things cannot happen at once. This is merely a reflection of your thoughts. When I was listening to it, and like I tell you, you get into these circles, and if you've ever been around people that are into something specific, they have a vocabulary and a way that they talk. Hip hop culture, maybe.
Hippies. People that smoke weed.
They have their words, their vernacular that they use or in that community. Mm-hmm. And spiritual people have their vernacular. But the thing is that it doesn't make it what it actually is. It's just they put their spin on it.
Mm-hmm.
Because ultimately, to me, like he was making it seem like you have a thought, and then within your mind, you have a witness to the thought, like two separate beings.
He's wanting you to create that so you can see the thought, be a witness to the thought.
Yeah. That's where things start getting messed up.
So, pause.
Oh, look at you, fucking 2020, like the new kids.
I need you to take yourself back to your unconscious self.
Say less.
And 5 years ago, or when we were in our relationship at the very beginning, okay, and who you were back then, and how you were, and how you responded, and how reactive you were.
Yes.
Back then, there was no taking a minute to respond.
Right.
You were
reacting.
Yes. If you were practicing this, if you read this book then and were trying to practice that, your conscious self would be the witness of what the unconscious self, and being able to reflect on that.
Yeah, but I mean, we could explain that as awareness and reflection.
Right.
Without making it spiritual.
Okay. But it still means the same thing. That's why Kelly says, you and Miguel are saying the same things. You're just using different words.
People love making shit up, I swear. I'm just saying.
You know what I'm saying? Yes, I speak in a spiritual manner and you speak in a,
I feel,
it is.
Listen, this is how the Bible is created. Like when everybody puts their spin on stuff, like that's how these things start happening. It is what it is. There is one truth. There's not 3 fucking people in your head, unless you're schizophrenic.
Right.
So
but
there
he
is
breaks it
awareness
down
and reflection.
But he breaks it down so that you can understand. Like, for instance,
but you can't understand that if you practice awareness, if you are focused on your thoughts and mindfulness, these are real things, right?
Right.
Having a witness to your thoughts and that's not real. Awareness of your thoughts is a real thing. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, but it's his book. No.
And
no,
that's why I say that I don't have to accept everything that that somebody puts in a book.
Yeah.
You know?
But this book will still help. Like it's a great book.
Yes. No, it is.
And I am a coach, and I don't expect to coach everyone, and I don't expect everyone to want to coach with me, because there's a certain style of how I coach and the person that I am. I'm going to attract the people that are like me, that are like-minded, that want to work with me.
Yeah.
Right?
Well, let me move on to something else, because we're already...
Don't be rushing me. Okay.
So being present, clearing your mind, and meditation. Addiction is feeling like you have a choice, like you don't have a choice to do something. Constant thinking is because of the ego.
Okay.
He was talking about people that are constantly thinking.
Right.
Right? And being present, clearing your mind, and meditation when, for somebody that's constantly thinking. And he was saying that constantly thinking is because of the ego.
You're being mind-led.
But I was thinking about that. Obviously, I'm going to think about what he says about that, because I'm somebody that's always fucking thinking. And it's like, but doesn't that depend on what you think about? Because if you're only thinking about yourself all the time, that is because of the ego. I'm constantly thinking, but I think about the world. I think about things that are way bigger than me.
Right. Yeah. See, that's different.
The majority of scientists are not creative because they don't know how to think. or because they're not creative, not because they don't know how to think, but because they can't stop thinking. I had a situation one time where we were going to a poetry event, home-based poetry. It was 4th of July, or it was Memorial Day, or
doesn't matter.
Veterans Day, something like that. Okay. It was one of those holidays. And I had a song that I kind of started writing. For those of you that don't know, I'm a rapper.
Randy brought that up. He's like, I got to witness Miguel's, what did he call it? Rap.
He's one of my producers, yo. He freaking shot my video on my cell phone.
He's like, I got to witness that part of your guys' life.
Yeah.
I was like, oh, that's so, like, yeah, now I'm getting off track. It's so cool.
But there was one time that we were going to this event, and I had a song that I had started writing, and I wanted to write. It was a song about the military. It was a story about a guy that was going to get deployed, and it was his family that was going to get him through that deployment. That's what the song was going to be about. And I started writing a few of the lyrics, and I didn't finish it. Mm-hmm. Just like, I mean, I think I talked about it last week or the week before about Kanye West when he got into that accident and found, like, he almost died, and then he goes into his hard drives and finds how many songs that he had just started and never finished. Mm-hmm. You know? So I wanted to do this song that night. Mm-hmm. This was that day I thought about it. It's like, I want to do this song that night. Mm. I remember that day. I sat down and forced myself to finish that song that day. Mm. That's not being creative. I mean, that is being creative, but that's not like going with the flow of creativity.
Right.
That's sitting down and still being creative.
You were called to do that and you did it.
I wasn't feeling it, but if I sat down long enough, it was going to come out.
Right. You were called to do it, though. And that's the thing. That's the mastery. When an idea or an invention or a book comes into your space, or whatever, right? Yeah. You're scared because you don't know whether this book is going to do well. You have all these negative thoughts, but you continue to push through and write the book.
Yes, I think this is a little different, though, because earlier we were also talking about you writing your book, right?
Yeah.
And somebody had given you advice to, like, pick a time and sit down every day and write. Write for 15, 20 minutes every single day. Now, when you sit down at the computer, if you're not feeling it or nothing's coming to you, then just get up and go do something else. And I told you, maybe that's a technique or whatever. I was like, but I've also heard somebody else that is a successful author, like a New York Times bestselling author that we've talked about, Jocko. And I've listened to his podcast, and he said that when he was writing his book, he knew the book needs to be this many words. And he said, I don't care. Like, I would sit down for an hour or half an hour or whatever it was. And whether I was feeling it or not, whatever the hell came to my head, he put down on the paper. And it maybe didn't lead to the book. It maybe led to a podcast. It might have led to something else. But he sat down and with discipline just did it.
Right. Just wrote.
You know, and that's what it was. Like when I first started writing that song, the song, these things always start from like a passion type of thing.
Right.
Right? But the song got started that way. It didn't get finished that way. It got finished with discipline, with sitting down and saying, I'm going to fucking finish this song.
Yeah.
You know, it wasn't like the creativity flow. Right?
Well, too, right? Could be taken different than what he wrote.
Another great example of this is, maybe not. Maybe that's just being lazy. But I wrote music with some friends of mine. And I remember, like, you know how I am. Like, we had made decisions. We got a song. It's got 3 verses. There's 3 of us. We're all going to write our verses, and we get together, record them all together. Me and another guy, we get our verses done. Like, you know me. Yeah. I got my beat. I got my headphones on. Like, I'm listening. A verse takes, 45 seconds to spit? I be spitting bars.
Don't talk like that because you don't know if that's
people are going to go look at my shit up.
Like, what the hell does that mean?
But, you know, so like it's only what 30, 45 seconds of a song. And it would take me a week to write the song. Like I would sit there and I would listen, like putting words together. It doesn't make rewrite, put it together. And then there would be times throughout the week. And no, it wasn't that I was feeling it. I'm just a psycho, I guess. When it was that time, that beat was looped everywhere I went. In the car, while I was working. I had a piece of paper in my back pocket with a pen. And I remember I'd be drilling holes into wings on Apaches. And then I would be listening to the beat while I'm doing stuff. And then all of a sudden, I'm like, oh, shit, that's a good one. And I would get my paper out, write it down, put it back in my pocket, keep working.
Yeah.
And then we show up the day to record. Me and my friend, we got the verses. The other guy that's in the group, nothing. And we're like, what the fuck? Like first of all, you live like 3 hours away.
Right.
And that's where the studio's at.
And I think we had Audrey with us.
Yeah. It's like, that's where the studio's at. Like, we got our verses together. Like, we need to do this shit because we're not coming back here. Like,
right.
And he was like, okay, sat down and forced himself to write a verse. So it's like, yes, you can do it. You just got to have discipline.
Yeah.
And it is a creative process, but you can force yourself to do these things. I think that's...
And you need to, though.
You know what? I think that's a big part with creative people is the discipline part.
Yeah, because we're always in our feelings. We're always in our emotions, which he talks about later on in this book. Like, you have to also be aware of your emotions and get control of that as well.
Yeah. And let me see. Is there any... We can't get into all of this because
it's okay. We can continue. Kelly.
So, yeah, Kelly, you're going to have to come back next week for the rest of this book. But, we've had so much fun this year or last year. And this year is only going to be better.
Yes.
And bigger and more fun.
More fun. More exciting. So much to learn. Like this year, I feel like this is the this is the year for expansion for us.
Yeah. It's going to be fun.
It's going to be hot.
Hell yeah. And with that, make sure you guys go to our website, oppositesattractpodcast.com. Like we said, best thing you can do is share this with somebody else. Follow us on Instagram, Twitter, Facebook, YouTube. Follow the new Opposites Attract Podcast Clips channel. Definitely appreciate it.
Yes. Thank you guys for your love. Thank you for your support. And thank you for watching Opposites Attract Podcast.
Where we get better
together. Bye.